Hi guys, my name is Christina and welcome to my channel. And on this channel we'll talk about how to create comics, and I'm sharing everything I've learned after creating my comic for more than 6 years. I'm still creating it and I'm sharing everything I'm learning as I'm learning it. But we also talk about art, how to create art, how to enjoy creating art, and how to do art professionally and earn money with your art, because this is what I've been doing exclusively for my career, being a professional artist. And also on Mondays I post the video of me actually drawing my comic, and it's like a podcast style. I'm showing you screen recording, speed painting, and I'm talking over what I'm doing or just my thoughts. And those videos can get pretty lengthy, but if you want, you can draw as well when I'm creating them. So if any of this is interesting for you, please feel free to engage with buttons down below. It really helps the channel, and channel in turn hopefully can help you. So in today's video I want to talk about how to get through boring parts of the story. First of all, I feel like feeling like parts of your story is boring is a little bit of a beginner comic creator thing. And when I'm saying beginner, I by no means mean like weaker artist. It's like just somebody who didn't do it for a long time and didn't figure out certain things and didn't maybe figure out what the whole thing is about, really. Creating comic, I mean, and writing and drawing it. So I was there myself, and to me that was definitely, my story was divided into fun part, into the parts I'm writing the story for, and boring parts that I just have to go through due to plot reasons. So I definitely was there. And actually, as you may know, I talk about on this channel, I also wrote a novel. I wrote 2, I published 1 in Russia though. You can't read it unless you're fluent, and if you are, just don't. I wrote it long ago, and it was the same story but in a novel form and a different genre. It was like more middle grade maybe, and my comic is, I suppose, young adult to adult, depends what you think. And I remember the first draft of my book that I wrote as a very beginner writer. I really, like, almost the whole plot happened in the first 3 chapters, just because I couldn't, to me it was like either the things that I'm writing for story 4 is happening, or boring stuff, and I don't want to write boring stuff. So let's talk about boring stuff. What is that, and how to deal with that, and how to go through it. And also gonna show you a little bit of my perspective as someone who was creating comic for a very long time, and especially I feel now I'm more of a mature comic creator. But I mean, maybe I will look at myself 2 years from now, like back right this moment, and be like, oh, girl, you knew nothing. At least what I think now, there is no such thing as boring stuff about your story, and also there is no such thing as things you're writing your story for, because your story is only the story with all the parts in. If you don't have small parts, quiet parts, all the connective tissue parts written right, your story doesn't work. Big moment of some big character reaction, big character decision, big moment. It's only big if it's a big build up for it, is a big context, is a big story, is a big understanding of the characters and the situation. There is no such action or no such plot situation that is big and huge and powerful and impactful that doesn't have this built up and things involved. Only by itself, some action can never be super impactful. It's the meaning that we put. I mean, it can, like something like saving someone with the odds is wrong, but like something that you can find on YouTube, like hidden camera sees the man, saves the cat last moment, you know, kind of, you can see that stuff. But this is not kind of what the story is. Story is supposed to be having more layers, and things in the stories are so impactful exactly because we understand the character, we know the character, we know the situation, we know the world, we know the stakes, we know the context, we know everything, and the things we learn it from is exactly in those boring parts, exactly in those moments where that are quieter, that don't seem to be like plot related, they don't seem to be telling something insane about the characters. This is not what character is fighting. This is not what character is like in danger situation, almost dying. It's not when their friend come to help them. It's not where, you know, all that stuff happens, or, you know, army attacking and, you know, world is about to end. It's not about that. It's about those small moments, what character does overall, how the character reacts to the world, how characters feel overall. And if these things are boring to you, maybe you didn't develop your character well, maybe you didn't develop your world well, maybe you didn't develop your story well. And the thing is, the story happening there too, as your character is, for example, just have to go from village A to village B, you think this part is boring and how I can get over it, but during this time you can do a lot of character work. You can show who this character is, you can show how this world works, you can see how other characters interact with other characters, you can see what else they're discovering, you can fit so much story in there. Don't think action action, what the character is actually doing, going from point A to point B, how they're doing it, what troubles they have that happens there, what struggles and obstacles they have, how they deal with them, and what they'll learn. Do these micro stories within the most simple things. And honestly, I don't know about you, but when, for example, there is a story that I really like that is very layered and just good quality, what I like to do when I'm rewatching it not for the epic plot stuff. I'm rewatching for this character build-up, for the character work, for this minor boring moments, because they just speak so much, and you have to put as much story and care and interesting things and dynamics and things changing and things going, developing in those things as well. Think about the whole like arc of your story with the, you know, built up, rise in action, things to solve and solution. Think about all of this on a lot of micro levels and layers of this, and they're layering and flying everywhere, and it happens everywhere, and add them in the boring moments as well. And especially, for example, what I personally used to think as boring moments is when I would have to add dialogue or storyline about other characters that are not my main cast or characters of interest. I would have some, you know, other characters talking. I needed to have them there for plot purposes or like for some other reasons, like to move the story forward. But I didn't care about it, and it was like boring thing to do. Guess what? If you have characters or scenes that are boring to you, they sure as hell will be boring to your reader. Don't do this to your reader. Don't subscribe your reader to this experience. Usually it's boring because, again, you don't have context, you don't have reasons to care, you don't have reasons to feel concerned or interested. Give those reasons. Usually you don't have those reasons because those characters are not main cast, because those setting is not like main cast, main setting. Think it through as if it is. Add complexity to those characters, add small things. Now you feel a lot about this character, and this character becomes interesting. Don't discriminate upon characters you like and don't like, because you're technically discriminating characters that you developed and characters you didn't care to develop. Those guys are losing. It's not their fault, it's your fault. Think about those things. And to me, what happened, now that I started looking at things like this, sometimes there would be a passing character that I would think about, because so I want this character, as during their passing through the story, as they interact with my main characters, to be interesting, be full-on rounded character. Sometimes I decide to keep them in the story because I realize as I think about their story, their purpose, their logic, I realize, hey, they actually wouldn't just disappear after the scene is over. They actually would reappear because this is kind of their goal, their plan. It has something to do with the story now. It actually, who they are, for them now it makes sense actually to not disappear and continue, for example, pursuing the main characters and whatnot. And the thing is, this is, I think, how you need to start thinking. And also, especially if you're writing a story that relies on different POVs. If one of your POVs is underdeveloped in this way and you don't care about this POV as much, your reader would feel it. And it's very dangerous for the story because usually multi-POV stories, they rely on multi-POVs to tell the whole story. And if you miss one POV, like the story is not told as well. And also another thing, make those POVs and those things really interconnected. The thing that you thought boring, showing, for example, how one side character doing something, make it really, really connected to well-being a main cast, and not in the sense like, oh, they're plotting something to murder them. They, for example, talking to someone our main cast cares about, or for example, they're doing something that our main character doing too, but they're doing it in a different, interesting way that actually tells something about our character in contrast and comparison. So there is so many ways how you go around it, making things interesting like that, and there is nothing boring. Think about your story as is a painting overall, and every part of the painting should be drawn with love and with care. Because if you think about the painting, you know, just some parts of the painting are drawn because, you know, you really like drawing them. Like, for example, for me, it's like eyes or some parts of anatomy or some sky. But sometimes a lot of the painting is just drawing a lot of grass or drawing like a cars or a house in the background. And this is not something fun that you subscribe to, but you have to spend a lot of hours doing that. So you better learn to appreciate it and see value in this. And as you see value in things that are quote unquote boring and uninteresting, which are actually unnecessary for your whole thing to make sense, for whole painting to make sense, for whole comic to make sense, try to find this appreciation. And once you do, you put more work into them. You don't notice, but you put more work, more care, and it looks lovely. And you know, it's interesting thing what I noticed is that in my story I have pigeons, and pigeons are messengers in the story. They're like fantasy iPhones, and pigeons in my story are really advanced. It's not like they just, you know, send messages. They actually sentient, and they can transmute all sort of information. They can kind of almost teleport. Pretty advanced stuff, those pigeons. And to me, I just kept drawing those pigeons sitting on the shoulder a lot of the time, because they kind of, the type of beings they are, they don't have agendas of their own. They're half alive in that sense. They kind of like there, but they don't really care as much. They're strange. We're gonna talk a lot about pigeons in my book because they are important. We're gonna see what they're all about. But it meant that at this point I have to draw a lot of pigeons. A lot of time people interacting with pigeons. A lot of the time drawing a pigeon and having the bubble next to the pigeon, drawing this pigeon a lot. You know, in the beginning I was like, oh my god, so many pigeons to draw. But then I realized, no, I really need to care about my pigeons. I need to investigate pigeons. I would search a lot of images of pigeons, and as I would draw this pigeon that is just sitting and be like with blank eyes staring sideways, I would care what this pigeon is contributing to this panel, what pigeon is contributing to this page, what they're doing, how they enrich the characters. I would think about small interaction the pigeon, for example, can have with a character to highlight some character's personality and something like this, and how, like, just think I can just draw this pigeon looking sideways on each panel. On some panel I can make them, you know, clean their feathers. On someone I can make this pigeon look with interest on something else. Those small things, those small kind of character moments for something that is not really like a full-on character. I was thinking about it and I started drawing this pigeon thinking all of that. And the fun fact that happened, I have like one of my characters, Croy, he's definitely a fan favorite. In the places when I post my comic on Patreon, DeviantArt, Instagram, and its own website, I always get comments. Like by comments I can judge that this is a fan favorite. But also I started posting and sending some of my friends like images of Croy and having this pigeon on his shoulder. And people, usually they would just comment on how they, you know, like Croy. He's a pretty boy. People like pretty people. I guess that's why he's getting all of comments from people. I mean, I hope that because I wrote a compelling character, but I'm not sure. I'm trying to be realistic and think it's because he's just pretty. Usually I get comments about Croy as a character, but lately I started getting comments like, oh, this pigeon is cute. Oh, really, I really like this pigeon. This pigeon is my favorite character in the story. Like, I started getting a lot of people talking obsessively about the pigeon. And the only thing that changed, I was drawing pigeon in my story for a long time, is that I was thinking extra. I was caring extra. I was putting extra. And it shows. And when you care, your readers care. So do whatever you need to start caring and take them seriously. Every part, every angle, everything about your story, you should care about it. And I think as you start, you realize those big battles, those big plot events, those will they won't be together type of things that are not important about your story. Everything is important about your story. Put a lot of care in every single part of your story. So yeah. So I hope this video helped, and I hope my input was interesting, and I hope it can be beneficial for you guys. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, check out other videos of mine. If you like this one, give a like. If you like this video, I would really appreciate it. So thank you so much guys for watching. I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you guys.